Big up, big up, big up, and hopefully you can hear me because this StreamYard was acting a little crazy right there. But we are going to be doing some, I guess you call it fun talk, because it's about a lot of different things that are going on out there in the whole Liverpool universe of things. Today we have Brian with us, so we have just the two of us, but hopefully that will be sufficient for now until maybe some other of the normal panelists join us. If not, all the same, we're going to do our best to give you a really, really good perspective on what basically I've been seeing and reading in the headlines. Some interesting double takes that I've seen in the headlines. I would say double takes as in some of the perspectives or some of the different narratives that you hear some of the content creators and even some of the pundits out there that are taking with some of these stories. Also, I'm going to allow for a little bit of a fun little segment at the end that I think might interest some of you that do believe in the way that I look at it, which is I'll just leave it. I'll leave it at that for a teaser. But Brian, for right now, let's just get Brian in and say how you're doing, Brian, to the people. How are you?
Oh, very well. Yeah, hope everyone watching as well.
Okay.
Enjoying the game. Enjoying the Arsenal game if they're watching it.
Yeah, I figured that would be probably something that a lot of people would be partaking in right now, which is the Arsenal game. I don't have it on in the background, but since you just mentioned it, I'll tune it in, I guess. Let me just give me a second to get this all loaded up and make sure. Okay. So yes, for those that are watching the Arsenal game, hopefully you can put it into the background there, and you can just kind of join along and listen to the interesting, hopefully what you find interesting. I know I certainly do find interesting conversation that we're certain to have on some of these topics today. Basically, what I wanted to get into was the transfer window is fast approaching. A lot of speculation ahead of what could be a very, very busy summer for Liverpool, as we have heard a lot of different outs and ins when it comes to players leaving or joining our team. Arne Slot is already sketching plans for a Premier League title defense. I hope. We all hope, I guess. But he'll be doing so without a name that is very important to most of us, and that is Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't understand how some people have basically taken Trent Alexander-Arnold out of the storied history that we have and basically placed him as a footnote, as if he's not a major contributor to the league. And that's what's sad to see. I'm not one of those people. So Trent confirmed he's leaving at the end of his contract, and it gets even messier, I guess you could say, because Real Madrid have approached Liverpool to sign him early so he can feature in the Club World Cup this summer. Yes, Madrid's wasting no time. And I think they can go kind of the most PG thing to say here, but they can go for a long walk off a short pier, in my opinion. And let's not forget about Benjamin Sesko on our radar. Looks like a move for Milos Kerkez could be at risk. It could be at risk of being hijacked. So let's just get comfy. Let's take this walk together. As you all know, we'll never walk alone. So let's walk into some of these topics. The first topic I wanted to bring up, Brian, is something I'm not certain if you heard or not, but apparently, Arsene Wenger has a theory about this Trent Alexander-Arnold situation. And what's very interesting is he did say something that I've been trying to emphasize for quite some time now. And I'll get into it. Let's just get into it deeper. How about this? I'll give you some context, Brian. So Arsene Wenger has a theory about Trent's departure that we should be talking about, and that is he says Trent is part of a new wave of players running down their contracts to take the power away from clubs and cash in on themselves. It might sound familiar. I mean, we've seen Mbappe do it. Alaba has done it. Rudiger did it as well. Some of the talk that I heard on Never a Foul was just, it's mind blowing how some of these rivals play so ignorant and act so stupid sometimes. Now I'll say that with emphasis, stupid, because we know that you're smarter than what you're speaking on, but yet you want to play this whole banter thing of like playing ignorant and not thinking that these perspectives go on. But I'll get into it deeper. His quote was, "You want to buy a top player today, you can't afford the fee and the wages, so clubs will wait, players will wait, and they move for free with fat signing on bonuses." Wenger even said Madrid may have made contact with Trent 2 years ago, which is, if that's the truth, we'll have to look deeper into that if that's the truth. But that would change the whole timeline if you think about it. If this wasn't the worst for that long, Liverpool were probably boxed into the decision that they had to do. It's difficult because, like, again, I spoke on how Never a Foul, they're acting all like Mons was trying to defend. I don't agree with a lot of what Mons has to say, or even sometimes the route that he goes about saying it. But on this particular topic, I did understand, and I do commend him trying to his best to try to contend against a Spurs fan, a Spurs fan, a Red Devil fan, a Chelsea fan, who's just the ultimate of trolls too. And it was a very interesting source of topic, because basically what I've been speaking on a lot has been just that. Arsene Wenger spoke on it himself, in that players today are more so than not looking at themselves as being brands, looking at themselves as being having the ability to take a very vested gamble on themselves to dictate their futures, as opposed to leaving it in the hands of the parent company, parent team. And it's a question the question I would have is, are we ready for this new reality, Brian? Is Slot ready to rebuild without club legends and face this contract-driven era head on? Because this is what we're going to be dealing with.
I think, yeah, that's my first time hearing that. Like we spoke on this before, you're speaking about a very small minority of players that can go to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
That can go to Barcelona. It's not every player out there. There are still players out there that want security, want longer, are happy to sign long contracts. But yeah, again, I don't think there's a huge amount new in it. Players have not always, but have before run down their contracts. Like the players you mentioned, to move for free. It wouldn't worry me too much. No, I think the Trent one is more of a one-off. I don't think it's something, according to Romano, Madrid have been in touch with Trent's people. Not Trent, particularly, but
not
for
Trent,
18
not
months.
Trent, yeah, not Trent.
Yeah,
as in, yeah, his camp.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with Real Madrid ringing up Trent's agent and saying, "What's the story? We won't mind." We wouldn't mind being kept informed, kind of thing.
Mhm.
But that's then on a club. It's incumbent on a club. Then, like I said, if you got a guy that once he enters the 2 years of his contract only left, well, that's only 2 years left. If you were to get an injury, could be in trouble there. So you would want some security there. ordinarily you'd want some security. So if a guy's got less than 2 years left on his deal and he's not interested in signing a new one, then he's basically telling you he's walking on a free. So then you got to go and you got to make a move. Then you got to sell these guys so clubs can counteract it. But I still think it's only something that you've got to have a superstar player going to a superstar club. But it's something you've got to be, yeah, something we've got to be mindful of, and I'm sure the guys that work for us will be. Like that if someone like Alexis McAllister or whoever it might be for us only has a certain amount of time left, and they're not going to be caught out in that situation again because you can stop it happening. You can't. I suppose you can't force a player to leave. You can accept bids and all that, but you can make it awkward. You can make it difficult. So, Arsene Wenger has a lot of time on his hands. We all know that. Trying to come up with crazy new rules for everything. So,
he does have some unique approaches or opinions as to the future of football, and he is on the board, which has definitely the ability to shape what the future of football is going to be. But it was just an interesting piece because, again, I've heard on the thing with Kaz and one dude that was on there. His name is Jay. He's a Spurs fan, and I like Jay. I like his perspectives. He's normally he comes from a fresh perspective. He can sometimes even look past his Spurs status. What's funny about it is that they were all acting as if this has never happened before. That's what was kind of interesting. That's why when I heard Wenger say what he said, I was like,
that's what I'm saying. It's not new.
It's not new. Yeah. It's not new at all. I mean, you could just look back to Mbappe if you want to go back far enough to see someone do something. But it is certainly more prevalent with some of the bigger names that have such enormous price tags on their heads that knowing that Real Madrid was never going to pay what PSG would have if they were to ever move off of Mbappe, they knew that they were never going to come to the price evaluation of what PSG wanted. And there's only one way to go about getting that player still then. That is
it is. But you look at it, it's like it's very you can't if you say to the player, look, you sit there now in 3 years' time, we'll come and get you. I mean, 3 years is a very long time in football.
Absolutely agree with that. Yeah.
So managers can change, owners can change, people can have career-ending injuries. Like,
right.
I just think part of it may be like down to the trust in medical science now. That because before with a player, it was it's a short career, I could break my leg tomorrow, and then I'd never play again, kind of thing. Putting it succinct, kind of I could get a broken leg in a game, and I won't always have 4 or 5 years left on my deal if I could, or as long as possible, so to have that security there. But that obviously has changed a little bit now. Maybe more trust in kind of recovery and stuff like that. But you are still taking a gamble. I've always said that, like letting your contract run down to nothing final year. You are still taking a gamble that club. This is probably what Real Madrid do is they ring you probably every week saying, yeah, how are you getting on? Yeah, we'll still be coming for you. Don't worry. Kind of, they're not just ringing you up in 2020 and saying, oh, you run down your deal, we take you in 2022. And then you don't hear from them for a year and a half. And then they're like, oh, right. Yeah, sorry. We changed our mind about that. They'd be ringing every week, giving assurances that he still wanted and blah, 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 blah. I'm assured, like, that's the kind of stuff. Like, that's what, like, Romano was in that. He's saying 18 months they've been working on this kid.
Yeah.
18 months.
I believe it.
So, I reckon that's how it goes, because, like, Trent will know, hey, look, 2 years, a long time in football. They were saying, no, guarantee, we'll still come for you. We don't like to hear it, but it is. But again, I think it's not for it doesn't happen with everybody.
It doesn't. I don't want to make that. I don't want to go as far as I don't want to go too far with it. You're absolutely right. It doesn't happen with everyone, but these big name stars, I'm sure if Neymar, for instance, could do it all over, he probably would say, "I'll just leave on a free."
Well, that's one of the things because you brought it up earlier on, and him and this club that we're all semi-supporting tonight are partly to blame. It's just the price tag of top players now.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's we could go out tomorrow. I guarantee you, we could go out tomorrow and give Newcastle 150 million for Isak, but we wouldn't even be able to buy a cup of tea after that. We wouldn't have money left for the bus home. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It would
Mm-hmm.
absolutely wipe us out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so if any club wants to go out and buy a top player, they're costing 90, 100 million, 120 million.
Right. And if anything,
why not just wait a year if you can? If you could wait
and
a
a lot
year,
of those players are not even. I'll not just cut you off. I was going to just add and allow for you to finish. A lot of those players nowadays are especially those top players are 80, 90, 100, but even like prospects, even promising prospects, like we were talking about Dibbling, or players that are certainly have a promising future in front of them. There's no way you should be paying $100 million for a relegation bound player, who is, I don't know, I forget how old he is. It's like, but under 22 or 21, under 21,
I think.
Yeah,
21
21-year-old player. For him to have £100 million price tag on his head is astronomical. And then you wonder why some of these players are going, well, yeah, I want to be able to dictate where I want to go, or I don't want to, and by limiting myself to these price tags, there's only a few teams that could actually afford some of those price tags, So.
Yeah, it's just the players like that can do that. It is a bit of a big boy move, but it is probably, I get what Wenger is saying. It's becoming more of an accepted thing for players to do, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe in the way that, look, this is the way I did it, we did, but again, it won't work for it, because what happens if in just before he signs on with Real Madrid in January or whatever, Trent does his ACL and he's going to be out for 12 months. What's
then he's
Madrid do?
screwed. Then he's screwed. Yeah.
And then he's going to turn around to Liverpool and say, "Oh yeah, I'll sign. That contract you were offering me, Liverpool, that I've been turned down. Do you mind if I'll sign that now?"
Yeah.
How would that work? Would we be crossing off one of the notes on the end of it?
Yeah, exactly. We'd be saying, don't let the door hit you where, don't let the door hit you where the Lord split you, something like that, or whatever they call it. Yeah. Yeah, it is certainly something. And it was funny.
Every time you go out on that field, it's a contact sport. Every time you go out on that field, something can happen to you.
Sure.
You can't wrap yourself up in cotton wool for a year and say, "Oh, don't tackle me too hard in training. I'm going to Madrid next year. Don't hurt me." Can't do that. It's a contact sport. So you're always taking that risk. Someone can end up with egg on their face, basically, is what I'm saying. Someone could end up with egg on their face, or paella, maybe.
Well, what I was going to also speak on is Reds on the wire. Yes, she was pressing there. Reds on the wire is what we're going to call this. That's on Reds that are possibly on the out. We can shift to the players who might be heading out at least. And one of those players is Kostas Tsimikas. The Greek scouser might be on the outs. Slot wants apparently a new left back, and report says reports say it's Robertson who's going to stay to fight for his place. And Tsimikas will be the odd man out, in essence. Very interesting. But predictable, to tell you the truth. If we're going to bring in a left back, we're not going to carry 3 left backs, people. That's just not going to happen. PSG pressing.
Football 101.
Yeah, exactly. Another name out there. Big up Rasta Crab. The streets have arrived. The other name that's on the list, someone I don't want to see go personally. I don't want to see any of these guys go, to tell you the truth. Tsimikas, I'm understanding of we have to make this sacrifice. Harvey Elliott, I'm not really there just yet. I know Premier League clubs are looking at purchasing the player, the player we affectionately call ringlets. One of those teams is the Wolves. Apparently they are circling in on him. It's been a minute. Definitely big up Rasta Crowd. Elliott's game time's been limited. He's hungry to play. He's made a declaration that he's willing, that he wants to stay with his club. He wants to fight for a spot. He wants to continue helping contribute to the many aspirations of silverware that we have. And the third name that I wanted to get into, this player I definitely don't want to see leave either, and that is Federico Chiesa. His agents are reportedly in Liverpool right now, trying to find out what the heck is really going on. Napoli, Milan are all serious apparently about taking him back to Italy. They almost scored there. Divide, mutual separation, I guess you could call it. He's had 5 appearances in his debut season. Not necessarily much to go off of. There is something before we even get into the 3 players, but there's something interesting that I heard speak on, and I think it was by Matt from Coppish, and I think someone else had alluded to this too, and that is that Chiesa has been I wouldn't call it a wash, but I'm trying to think of what exactly his words were. It was similar. It was somewhat to the point of saying how the Chiesa project was a wasted project for not only our club, but for maybe even Chiesa himself. And one unique, I guess, silver lining of what I would say to that perspective is Chiesa got an opportunity to train, to get stronger, to utilize top class facilities and resources in our medical staff. He then also got to, despite not being heavily relied upon, but he still got to train and also prospectively be a part of a lineup that once he did establish his fitness, maybe he could be a part of. Now, this coach seemingly is someone that doesn't necessarily give those kinds of opportunities readily, which is unfortunate. But I think that Chiesa, there's more in this than meets the eye when it comes to a return for Chiesa. And that is, Chiesa is a very, very creative player. He's a player that I personally think is someone could be utilized for the lack of creativity that comes from our 10, or if not, sometimes our 9. And he could be an alternative for a creative output or outlet on either the left or right wing. And there is something that's interesting, is that Slot referenced him as being a backup to Mohamed Salah. Why I find that interesting, Brian, is this. How many times has he been subbed in for Mohamed Salah?
Oh, I don't know. Probably not very many. Yeah, I know. I think I know what he's getting at, but it's just like it's the standard answer for managers. It's also been Klopp's also had to deal with it before. It's like, look, uh,
That's a good point.
his direct competition is Mo Salah. You know, so that's sort of what the way he's trying to frame it. Like, yeah, if his agents are over, probably means something's in the offing. I think it looked like there was that thing. A couple of people picked up on it. Yes, I read something. I can't remember where I read it, where I saw it, but that he had a medical condition that he has had the whole time he's here, sort of thing.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, just again, I don't know. Again, but maybe there was a lot of protecting him. At the end, I thought by not playing him as much. So you can make sure that he can. To me, it's you just got to look at things coldly. I just think if there's a player called John Smith playing at Hereford United, I'd say, well, he's obviously not working out for your team. So yeah, I can understand why that guy would move on. It's Liverpool, it's Chiesa, everybody loves him, everybody wants him to do well. But if he was to move, look, it's not going to take a £60 million bid for an Italian club to be able to bring him home, because we only paid 12 million for him, so we can get our money back pretty handily. 25 million. Like you said, he's come here to a degree, proved his fitness. Didn't quite work out, but yeah, I don't want him to. It's like with the Elliott one, like the show we did last night. Max got a bit angry about it, but it was basically similar to this. It was like the 8 players that have been most linked with moves away. It's not like sort of we want to sell these, or we want to get rid of it. It's just like of all the players that have been most like linked with moves away, where would we, if those players were, if like Cleveland Keller, Harvey Elliott, Simicast, Endo Chiesa, if they did leave, where was their most likely destination? And the choices were Premier League, a non-English Champions League club, a non-English Europa League club, Saudi Arabia, or other. And a lot of people are like, oh, I wouldn't sell that guy. He was like, yeah, look, we're not talking about that. It says you Google search Liverpool sell blah blah blah. So the top 8 guys that come up, and most people seem to be of the opinion that Chiesa going back to Italy would make an awful lot of sense. The Elliott one, if Harvey Elliott at his age, his level, point in his development, is going to be told that you can stay, but you're basically, if everything works out the same way, you're going to get the same minutes next year that you did this year, then that's bad for his career. He's got to come to a point now where he's got to stop thinking about his dream of playing for Liverpool and his actual career playing football. Because you sit on the bench practically, because if say we have another bad year in the Cups next year, and you basically spend the entire season sat on the bench at the age of 22 to 23 and then 23 to 24, that'll kill your development. And it won't be top level clubs that'll be looking at you. So he's really got to make it. The one with Harvey to me is really a Harvey decision. I don't see it as a club decision. I see it as a Harvey Elliott decision. Like, nobody wants to see the kid leave, but if he's not going to play, he's not some 32-year-old journeyman that's there taking a paycheck. He's a kid with a career. He needs to have that career somewhere. And if it's not going to be here, then I think, yeah, I'd love to see him go and play every single week for Villa and Brighton or whoever it might be, and put in a buyback clause if you want. But let the kid play. Don't restrict him to 0 starts in the league. Like, he might end up with more, by the time it finishes, but that's just going to. He's sat on the bench for 2 years basically, with a few minutes here and a few minutes there. He's too good for that. He's too good to be on the bench doing that. It's just not right.
I mean, a year. I'll give you a year, but yeah,
One season, yeah, maybe, but then you go
one
next year
season.
and Slot says it's going to be the same sentence next
Oh,
season.
if
Harvey, you
it's
want to hang
if
around?
it's a
That's cool,
second
but it's going
season,
to be
yeah,
the same
it's another
sentence.
story. Yeah, because last year he was one of them. He had possibly or not last year, meaning not this year, but the year previous to this, he had possibly, I think he was top 10 in minutes played for us.
Yeah.
So
that was when you. So that's how you get better. You play every week, you get better. I mean, at his age, you have to. Some guys when they're 28, they're as good as they're going to be. But with Elliot, that's when you really need that development time. And that'd be like having an ACL for 2 years, and you played like 10 years, 2 years or something. Nobody would want that. He's really got to make a decision for him. I hope he makes the right one. And if he does stay, I hope he gets the minutes. But it doesn't look like it based on this year. Like what would tell him? Oh yeah. Oh, I can see a pat. I can see how next year I'll get loads of minutes. What is it about this manager and what that tells you that's going to happen next year? And I reckon because
I
Arne
get
Slot,
what you're saying.
he's probably going to sit him down and go, "You can stay. Happy for you to stay, but it's going to be the same sentence as last season. Are you happy with that?" And then if not, then we can make something happen. But Brighton, Villa, that level, not Wolves, not Leicester, not that kind of level. Harvey Elliott just in that top level in the Premier League, I think.
They're looking at a potential penalty check right here. Anytime you get a referee going to the side, it's bad news. Most likely it will be. Oh, wow. They're checking on. I thought they were going to be checking on. Oh, they're giving it. They just gave it.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie et Guna.
C'est la vie.
Oh no, that's a handball. It's it's a tough one to give because he's not necessarily. It's like he's kind of like he's not doing it on purpose per se. He's not
different
trying.
in Europe.
But
that's the
Europe,
thing in England. Yeah, they don't count the non-intentional thing. Apparently, in England, the rule is slightly different. But in Europe, it's basically that doesn't come into it.
So we are about to see if PSG
they
could
have huge chances. Arsenal has some huge chances early in that game. I don't know if you saw them in the first 5-6 minutes.
Sure.
Arsenal could have scored three times.
Yeah.
Donnarumma's save was incredible. Absolutely incredible. The Donnarumma save from Odegaard.
I was going to say the Donnarumma save on Saka just earlier was a pretty impressive save.
Yeah, that was a great one. The one on Odegaard, he didn't see it until it was about 8 yards away from him, and he got down. It was unbelievable the way he got down. And then he pretended to have a little groin strain afterwards. Classic, perfect. Waste of time.
We're waiting on or at least I'm waiting. Someone might be ahead of me.
Making subs? What's this now?
What's that?
They're making substitutes before a penalty is taken? I've never seen that. That got precedent over the. Okay. The mind game from Arteta there.
More mind game for him. Yeah.
That's
a little mind game. Make him. It's kind of like icing the kicker, basically. Make him wait. Let me see if this is going to be converted or not. I'm sure some are ahead. Some might be behind. Oh my goodness! What a poor penalty.
Yeah, it was horrible, wasn't it? Absolutely horrible horrible penalty.
Wow.
Yeah, so whatever Arteta did, maybe it worked. 'Cause that was just disgusting.
He just tried to side foot it into the corner.
Yeah.
No velocity behind it.
That stupid little run up.
Yeah,
That's a
that was
stupid little run up, man.
yeah. Just do what most Salah does. Just take a good, nice little run and put it in the back of the net.
Couple of bounces, few quick strides, and bang, get in that whole little trying to fake to keep her out and all that.
Yeah. So
No.
Arsenal holding on to a lifeline. That's exactly well put. Given to them by Raya on that penalty kick save.
Yeah, no. Even if Raya had gone the wrong way, I think he could probably have gotten back and saved.
He got back up and saved it.
Yeah, that was just tricky.
Yeah, that was a poor shot, definitely. But out for a corner, we still have an opportunity to score here. Was another.
But
thing.
I did see Arteta's comments today. Someone brought them up. Arteta being very weird and salty in the press conference.
Yeah.
About
we'll be bringing that up. I'll be bringing that up.
Okay.
Yes, I'm bringing that up for sure. What I was going to talk about is all right. So you spoke on Elliott. You somewhat spoke on Chiesa. How about for Simi though? No, for Simi.
Oh hell yeah! Look, if you're buying a right back, you can't have three. You need to get some wages off the books. You need to get some money in the door. Simple economics. Yeah. Two is good, so 3 into 2 won't go. So if you're keeping Robbo and you're buying a new left back, then it's not about sentiment. It's just straight up someone's got to leave. Simi isn't going to sit there as third choice left back.
Right.
If somebody was saying, well, we can sell Robbo, so we'll sell Robbo then if that's what you want to do. But you ain't having three. You're not going to have three top player. Like Simi's a top player. We were talking about he was one leaving last night, and we were saying the very least he would go to would be a top level Europa League team or a Champions League team in the lower end, like maybe somewhere in Turkey or somewhere like that. So yeah, you can get a good fee for him. You can get probably 20 million quid for him. We didn't pay much for him. You get 20 million for him. Price him too high, you're not going to be able to sell him. So you get him at that kind of price. We get our money back. He gets a move back probably somewhere in the Mediterranean, somewhere near Greece.
It is now
Galatasaray, I think, was a popular. That was a choice for him last night. Popular choice. So yeah, I'll happily sell him, man. 20 quid in the door. That's 20 quid off the price, or 20 million quid off the price of a Huijsen for someone that's given us good service, and it's a real business deal, that one.
Well, if you can't get it, can't go the route of the penalty, then get the old-fashioned way, open play.
Yeah. And they know Dembele tonight, remember? In case any Arsenal fan starts crowing.
He is.
No Dembele. Well, they had he didn't start.
He didn't start, right. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
He just got subbed in not too long ago.
Yeah, it's incredible finish. Hakimi again. Hakimi scored, I think, twice now in the Villa game. In the Villa round, he scored twice against them. Big goals. That's a big goal there he's just scored. Incredible player. Really brilliant player.
Brilliant player, for sure. Yes. It is going to be an Arteta out party, which is unfortunate because I'd like to see Arteta in. so much for the old Arteta trying to utilize some type of mind games, I guess. It worked for the penalty, but did not work in keeping them really, really on point with what they had to get done right there. So let's just move on. Simi, Elliott, okay. Chiesa, cool. the other thing then that I was going to speak on was part point of it. I guess it's all about scouting the future then. Where and who do we bring in? And
Well,
there's
I'd be
been
interested.
names
You
of
brought up something. Sorry, you brought up something just before you get into it that I'd be interested in hearing first, and I haven't heard this story. Was that you were talking about the Kerkez deal possibly being scuppered? So, in terms of that, if you want to bring that up first, because I haven't heard, I don't know what that is, so I'd be interested to hear that one.
Okay, I can bring that up first. Give me 1 second. Um, um, all right, so Liverpool is prioritizing a move for Bournemouth Milos Kerkez, but Ait-Nouri is also on the club's list as well. Liverpool placed Kerkez at the top of their summer transfer list, despite showing interest in Ait-Nouri. Hold on, that wasn't all of the story I was going to bring up. What's the thing about Kerkez? Give me 1 second to find it for you, Brian. It was basically top target at left back, but Real Madrid. Oh, that's why, because it's further down in what I wanted to bring up. But Real Madrid are looking at him.
Oh, not really?
Yeah.
Because they. Okay.
Real Madrid might hijack the move. Wolves want to lock down Ait-Nouri and kill that route for us as well. But yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. Maybe. Hopefully that's just fake news or whatever. But yeah, I hadn't heard that one now.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard that one.
Saka just scored.
Yeah.
Just scored 2-1. See about this goal. They're trying PS. Yeah, that might have been a foul, but they kept playing it. Well, I don't know about that.
That looks okay.
They're gonna play it. But I mean, he got pushed in the back, and then he went down and handballed. Got a handball on it. But, yeah, Real Madrid again. Some of the targets that we're looking at. Jeremy Frimpong wants to move. He does want to move, but David Lynch, the reporter David Lynch, who's someone that I do enjoy listening to his perspectives and his journalism. Doubts that will happen. Says he's a wing back, not a right back. And Connor Bradley's got Slot's faith in getting across the line when it comes to performing at that position. There's also Dean Huijsen, who is reportedly down to two teams. People. And those two teams are us and Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea.
But there is reports of a third team out there, and guess who it is?
Oh yeah, we all know that. Yeah, the Real Madrid links are real, but that's why I said about him yesterday that I would love us to sign him.
Well,
because Madrid don't think he's ready.
Yeah.
But I would love us to sign him if he just wants to do his own thing. Not saying if he's always dreamed of playing for Liverpool. It doesn't have to be that. But if he's joining us with one eye on leaving to go to Madrid when in 2 or 3 years' time, then I'm no interest in that. I have no interest in that because he's made it quite clear that that's where he wants to end up eventually. So, yeah, I don't want to end up in another situation where basically we signed this kid, and within 2 or 3 months of us signing him, Romano is coming out with stories that Madrid are planning to buy him in 2 or 3 years' time. I just don't need that. So, yeah, that to me is the only issue there. He has to be fully committed.
No, I agree. I agree. Yeah. Another name out there. Well, what's scary about the? Oh my goodness, Kawasaki just missed an absolute sitter that just went over the bar. What's scary about it though, Brian, is that if they don't get Huijsen, a name that they're reportedly eyeing, Ibu.
Oh, well, that'd be just like them getting his ear and say, "Don't you be signing any contracts over there now at Liverpool next season? You can come here."
Mm-hmm.
That'd be just like them. They, replace Rudiger next season with Ibu, both of them on a free. Right. Yeah, that's a horrible, horrible miss. That's an incredible miss.
Yeah,
that's really just awful. Yeah, that's an open goal, mate. That's an open goal in the Champions League semi-final. That's pretty much what that was. And you've missed it. Wouldn't pass him. I wouldn't put it past him to come back and to get something there to make up for it.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to haunt him if they go out. I mean, they're 3-1 down, but if they go out, that's going to haunt you.
Maybe 4-1. Ooh. Good shot.
Yeah, we do. Red is right. We need to set in. We need, like, if Ibu even makes the slightest inclination that he's not prepared to sign a contract this season, then we need to sell him. Even if it means taking less than market value, then like, he's got 1 year left. If he's not going to sign up, sorry, we have to get serious with these players. So, we're going to start inviting offers for him and replace him, because if he doesn't want to be here, if he doesn't want to stick around, if he's going to play all next season with Real Madrid on his mind, winding down the clock, no, mate. There's a taxi outside with your name on it.
Well, another name out there that's looking at being a possible incoming player that I haven't seen too much because I don't watch a lot of German football. I do watch some of it, to be honest with you. Every once in a while, I do watch some of it, but I haven't watched too much. This is going to be a Ben Whiting. Is that Ben White signing or sighting about to be happening? Interesting. Angelo Stiller. Angelo Stiller is a name that's out there. The Stuttgart midfielder has a 60 million euro price tag. He's one apparently to watch as a possible incoming. Another name out there, Jarrell Hato, a name I know that are a good friend of the show, Matt from Coppish, likes a lot. He's the Ajax prodigy. Some I know in the chat.
Alante is a big fan as well.
Big fan from Hato. Yeah. He's Ajax prodigy. He's also obviously Gravenberg's homeboy, Romano says we're in, which is great to hear. He says we're in for him. A name that's out there. Also, again, these are all just names. You talked about the 8 names. These are 8 names, actually, to be honest with you. You said 8 names are targeted to go out. Right, you're talking about 7 or 8 names to go out. Yeah, these are 8 names that are targeted possibly of coming into the team or joining the team. And that is Nico Williams' name has been thrown back into the mix as a wide forward option. I'm not really sold on, really
that Nico Williams.
Investing.
I thought you meant to win a Forest.
No, Nico Williams in Spain.
Oh, yeah, good player. Very good
player. Yeah. I don't know if
very cheap. That's cheap. That's a cheap player, cause he'd probably be at Barca if they weren't broke. Yeah, I like him. I think he's a good player. But
Okay. All right. Stiller is very good. He gets the hype, but it's Adam Sandler for him. Okay, I got you. Nika Williams I spoke on. Jarrell Hato I spoke on. Brian Mbeumo. Salah's replacement vibe is apparently growing a lot more of a vested target possibly for us, being that he is a player that's played very well this year. Premier League proven, obviously. 18 goals, 7 assists. Obviously, certainly has obviously the youthful age on his side at least. Oh, they should have scored there. And strong link to basically be the heir apparent for a 2-year, run with Mohamed Salah as our bona fide right wing. But another name. But although we are very, very heavily linked to him, it is Manchester United that might be the possible suitors for him at the time. And last but not least, there's a name out there that I wanted to see get involved, and that's Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz apparently is going to be looking to take his services to Bayern Munich.
if
That
Darren, how you doing?
Hmm?
I've seen you in a while.
Oh wow, Daryl's in the house. Big up. Yeah, Kevin De Bruyne. We'll see. I think Daryl. I don't know if Daryl is stirring the pot or if he's serious about that one. But hope you're well, Daryl. By the way, what I was going to say is, Saka's just flopping all over the place, huh?
If we signed Florian Wirtz and Isak, we'd take over the world. We'd win everything. I'd take Florian. I mean, yeah, it's so depressing that he's going to go to Bayern Munich if that happens. That's just so depressing. So boring. Like I said, yeah, it's just such a boring transfer. I'd rather see him at Madrid even. It's just like, oh, guess what? German prodigy wonderkid goes to Bayern. Great. So nobody's going to get to watch him. Nobody watches Bayern.
No. I think it was what's interesting about that possibility, Brian, is also it would be on the turn or on the levels of us sending Gravenberch to Manchester United. Like Bayern Leverkusen might not necessarily look at Bayern Munich as their direct rival. They might look at anyone as their direct rival in the German league, considering how the league is set up for them to do well and be able to be vultures when it comes to picking apart other teams for their best players. But what's interesting about it is, again, you have a player that is about to go from the team that won the title the previous year, the team that went undefeated in the league the previous year. And you're going to your quote-unquote rival. That's just wild. Now, KDB, which is being spoken on in the chat, that's a different story. If KDB were to come to or were to join Liverpool, it wouldn't be a far stretch, considering that there have been other Manchester City players to have done that. Most notably, Milner has done that. He served an incredible tenure with us as well. and he was a player that was highly coveted by Manchester City during some title runs as well, by the way. And KDB, we all know that his grandfather was a Liverpool fan. He reportedly was a Liverpool fan growing up as well. He has a best friend, best mate in Virgil van Dijk that is on this team. If KDB were to join this team, it wouldn't be oh my gosh, I can't believe he is doing the dirty against his beloved city. But it'd be interesting to see. But the foreign verse thing, I just don't get it when all those teams they end up going into be just another case of Bayern Munich, picking and choosing, just using the league, the Bundesliga as a farm league for themselves to just craft players and then just snag them, put them on your team. So be interesting. There is another name out there that has been gaining some momentum. It's a name that we did an episode a while back about Julian Alvarez. It was we did one where we spoke on Alvarez and we spoke on Isak and how I preferred Alvarez over Isak actually. And I know I got a lot of pushback by some in the forums that I keep. But the Alvarez Gambit is back, people. Here's the big one. Julian Alvarez. Liverpool are willing to sell Darwin Núñez on the quote-unquote cheap to Atletico Madrid if it helps them land Alvarez. Now, we all know Brian's spoken on it many a times that a lot of transfers where you're swapping players really doesn't take place too often anymore, simply because of the ability of these teams to take the transfer money that they get for whatever money they do get. They can apply it to their books, as opposed to a transfer swap deal ends up being none of the case. So it ends up being more beneficial to, at least if you're going to transfer them, maybe go this route. And this is what I mean by the route is. Apparently, Alvarez wants back into the Premier League. He's close with McAllister and our South American scouting team. That's the reason why there was a very high likability. There's a very high probability, that we were going to acquire him directly from City before he went to Atletico Madrid. The way that I read that broke down was because City got greedy and wanted to bring back Lucho in the deal. And Trossard almost had a shot on goal there. We're into extra time, by the way. I'm on about 2 minutes and 50 seconds out of 5 minutes. So about 2 minutes left of extra time. The score is 3-1 on aggregate, 2-1 in the actual game. Arsenal are pressing to try to get one more last-ditch effort of having a chance to call this what it is, which is a victory. Oh, Donnarumma, get up. I hate when they do that extra lay on the ball. They drop and lay on the ball. I used to hate that. I never really, and when I played, I never liked doing that stuff. I was, even when we were like, I know it's time wasting and the likes, but usually for myself, my perspective was if we were up, even if we were up, chances are the team you're playing against is pressing so high, and they're probably pushing for a goal that you can have those kind of like quick draw opportunities where if you scoop up the ball and have a quick outlet or have a quick, punt it upfield quickly, you could possibly catch them sleeping and just put the game to bed with an easy one-on-one with the goalkeeper the other way. That was my perspective, but I digress.
Well, it's 3-1 up in a Champions League semi-final. The game is a bet. I mean, this is what gets beat. I know what you're saying, but he's doing what he's been told to.
He's doing what he's been told to do each and every time. Yeah.
Yeah, if he was to throw a ball,
I remember the player I had to fight for the position with. He used to do that every time, and it was like over every save he made that same move. Save it.
Oh yeah, that stuff is bullshit.
And I'm
but
just
a
like,
3-1 up in the Champions League semi-final.
I hate it.
It's probably the move.
Oh yeah, totally. I know what it is. But again, he's close with McAllister. He's close with our South American scouting team. Slot system needs a forward who presses with purpose and scores with consistency. It is over, people. It is over. It's going to be PSG.
He's overwhelmed from what I've been. I know you're saying in other forms or whatever, but to me, I mean, Alvarez is either everyone's first or second choice. When I've been talking to people, if I've been doing anything, it's Alvarez has basically either been people's first or second choice for this role. People like me will say if money's no object and it can be done, go and get Isak. But it's pretty much, I'd say, split 50-50 between people. Especially those who know we're probably not going to get Isak. So most people I've been seeing it saying Alvarez second choice. I don't think there's anyone out there that's, really against it. He's Prem proven, Madrid proven. His numbers have gone up every single year. He's still only 25. The thing to me was like Real or Atletico Madrid have spent 80 million euro on this guy. He's having a brilliant season. Are they just going to say, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, we understand. Yeah, you want to go and join Liverpool." Is it going to be that easy to do? And are they going to want Darwin? That seems a bit too convenient for me. The Darwin links has always just been a bit too convenient for me. But you never know. Maybe there is something in it.
I don't.
He's a very Atletico Madrid player.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to.
He's a very Madrid player, so I don't know. It would be awfully convenient for us if they wanted Darwin, we wanted Alvarez wanted to come here. There's a lot of moving parts in that. So I'm pretty sure everyone would be 100% on board with probably, what would you call it, 50 million plus Darwin, whatever people want to argue about, split the numbers, but some money plus Darwin, Alvarez, I don't think anyone would really be complaining about that.
No, I don't think.
They made a lot of money for him.
I wouldn't say complaining, but I know that there were people that thought that it was a non-starter, that there was no way that we would ever get this player, and this and that, and blah 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 blah.
I think
there's a lot of links.
No.
There's a lot of links. There's the links I just provided are just a little bit more reassuring links that, this isn't just some made up rumor that was out there. I mean, reportedly, we offered Darwin to Saudi for $93 million. That's American. So I know that's you'd have to do the conversion, but $93 million is what we reportedly offered them to Saudi in January. They were willing to pay that, by the way. I think that's like 77 million pounds or something like that. It would have been basically.
They offered us the money.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they offered us that money, right? But if Atletico were to take him for, again, 35 million pounds or 47 million. I have it in dollars for some reason, but $47 million, and we get Alvarez. That would be some real chess, not checkers, people. That would be some real sporting director brilliancy by Hughes and the whole brain trust that is our back room staff, because we all figured that it would be a done. I'm not saying it's a done deal, but just saying we all figured that, hey, he's moved on to Spain. Oh, there's absolutely no way that we're getting him to move on. It was tough enough to get him to possibly leave City for Liverpool. Now that he's back home, or not home, but back in a Spanish-speaking community, you think, oh, it's over. It's done. Well, maybe not so. Maybe not so. And there are talks about how much Simeone adores Darwin Núñez. He loves how dynamic of a player Darwin Núñez is. So it's a real interesting scenario. Real interesting scenario. I do have that segment coming up about Arteta, so that is going to be coming up in our Mock the Rivals segment that I'm calling it Mock the Rivals. But before we get into this Mock the Rivals, since they just lost, all right, go Gooners, right? I did want to speak about something that was very interesting, and it was something that kind of I wouldn't say angered me, but definitely poked the button, and that is Real Madrid our true European rival? Is Real Madrid our true European? I didn't say English. We all know who our rivals are in England. We all know, whether it's the Red Devils, whether you want to consider Arsenal now a rival, if you want to consider Chelsea a rival, obviously Everton for obvious reasons is a rival. We get that. Certain rivals, yes. But I'm asking, is Real Madrid our true European rival? Let's talk about this. And I really want to say this because I saw this was brought up again on another show, and the participants that were a Arsenal fan, a Spurs fan, and a Chelsea fan, and a Red Devil fan, they all laughed at us. They all laughed at it. They all laughed at the concept. Because these rival fans scoffed at when I've said it before, but when it was brought up on this episode of that Real Madrid is our biggest European rival, and I think that they are. We've had 3 knockout eliminations with them. The Kiev heartbreak, the Paris frustration. They just the time that they came to Anfield and absolutely humiliated us. There's also the moment where we had this year where we had an opportunity to play them, and we absolutely humiliated them. They become our benchmark in my mind, and our tormentor in other ways too, but our benchmark. But it doesn't stop there. The sheer fact that they're circling for 4 of our targets, for instance, whether it was Huijsen, whether it was Wirtz, who was another name that they were eyeing to try to bring in, Gutierrez, Zubimendi. Now they've added Ibu to that list. They just vested away Trent Alexander-Arnold from us. Now they might even try to steal Kerkez. This isn't coincidence, people. This is some real conquest. So I asked Brian, is Real Madrid our true European rival?
Well, you got to break down what you mean. But if you're talking about, right, like to me, the way I look at it is we are the English representative in Europe. So if you said to somebody, like, obviously not after tonight's game or something, if you said what one of those games, word association, you say like, England, European Cup, it'd be Liverpool. If you say Spain, European Cup, Real Madrid, obviously, because they've won like 13 of them, I think. That's the way I see him. Yeah, I just think that probably for that kind of made up little club that we have of European royalty, which isn't a thing, but it's just something we've made up. And I think we are in it and they are in it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So, yeah, to be kind of who's the biggest club in the European Cup, it's always going to be them because they've got more than double what we have.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't say like we rival them for trophies, we rival them for wins. No,
But you
but
could.
I would
I
say
really
we're
think.
two.
How many?
But
You
no, I
realize?
mean, no, I mean in
Okay.
terms of we can't rival them. Like they have double what we have. We've got 6, they've got 13. So we're right up there. There's not many people have 13,
I
and
think they
they've
have
won
15.
a lot of those.
They have 15, I think.
Say that. Say that again.
I think that 15.
Oh, they have 15 now. Yeah. See, I mean, if you're just going on a pure numbers thing, they beat everybody else out of the water. But I just think, in terms of name, in terms of European heritage, European history, yeah, I do think Real Madrid and Liverpool, AC Milan also have big, but in just terms of like the two biggest clubs in Europe in terms of European football, I think it's probably us and Madrid. Yeah.
Okay. I see some people in the chat are definitely giving um, some of their I'm trying to also look up how many titles there are. Real Madrid have 15. Our AC Milan have 7, and Bayern Munich and Liverpool both have 6, and Barcelona are on 5. It's one reason why I didn't want to see Barcelona win this year. I'm happy to see them get knocked out because I don't want to see them become tied with us at 6. It'd be kind of a crazy number too. But again,
It's either going to be 1 or 3 now. You'll either get PSG will win their first or Inter will win their third.
Yep.
So
it's just when this question was asked, they were mocking the person that suggested it, and I thought it was like just and to hear them say that, which is sad, which is like, oh, they're not your European rivals. I'm like, you recognize the fact that we've played them in 3 title finals. We've played them in 3 finals. If you take away if some of the circumstances didn't happen the way they did, obviously they've beaten us, just because you got beat doesn't mean you don't have a rivalry with a club. And especially if that club is someone that you meet quite a bit. That's how rivalries are created. Albeit, some might say there's no real rivalry between Manchester City and Liverpool, for instance. Yet I think there's a rivalry. We've taken Manchester City to the hilt multiple times. We've won one, now won a second, where we didn't have to necessarily, battle back and forth with City this year, but still, we've been involved in the conversation for the title. And that's what I think that's what builds rivalries, is the team that you have to go through to get that title. If it tends to be a particular team, chances are that rivalry will start to brew from within.
The only thing I'll say on it is that for there to be a real, genuine rivalry, the other side has to feel the same. You can't say, "Oh, someone's my rival," and they'd be like, "Who's that?"
Yeah, but Real
Or
Madrid
that
is
guy.
just
But
they think no
Dave,
one, they don't
and
think
they'll
anyone
just
rival.
say,
They
"We
don't
don't
think
give a
they have
shit."
rivals. They don't think they
Exactly. So
have
they
rivals.
would just say, "Yeah," but then they'll say, "Well, even if we are, then look, we just stole one of our rivals' best players." So there you go. Yeah, they don't think they have any right. Well, it's Barcelona. But in Europe, yeah, they're just like, "Well, we don't care." Yeah, Liverpool, yeah, you were good in the '80s, and then Klopp came on. Whatever. They are a very disdainful bunch. So yeah, they wouldn't see us. They'd probably agree with the Manchester guy. They'd say we don't have any rivals in Europe. They'd probably be all pissy about it and say AC Milan because they know they're not an issue now. AC Milan aren't even going to be in the competition next year. So they'd probably say, "Oh, if it's anyone, it's AC Milan." Um, but yeah, I just think like I've always said, without maybe the rivalry, I've always just seen us as the one team that has always truly and properly represented England in Europe. Chelsea never did it. Yeah, Abramovich came along. They had a little bit of success there later on. Man City have tried and pretty much failed, other than eventually getting one over the line. Pep let Barcelona didn't win one. You know, Man United, they have their treble season. But if you really want like the team that really, like, you look back through all those documentaries about European football, blah, 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 70s, 80s, it's always us. It's always Liverpool
Well,
that's there. There'll be a bit on Nottingham Forest or Villa or something. But it's Liverpool were always the team in Europe that represented England or the Premier League. So of course other countries have big
right,
teams. But for
right,
me, it
right.
was it was always us that was the preeminent European force that represented England. And no other team could do what we did. Other teams could do what we did domestically, but they couldn't marry it up with going across. And remember, this is and like Anna's mentioned there, like in some, those leagues back in the day, some of those refs genuinely were being paid off, but you're going in knockout competitions. You've got 2 games and that's it, or you're out. And we were doing that and winning those cups. No other English team was able to do that. So that to me is why we'll always be the English team in Europe.
Well, the other thing is unique about it is that we played Real Madrid 11 times. We played them 11 times, all in obviously European Cup / Champions League competitions. We initially won the first 3 times we met. That was including the 1981 final, by the way. But we've lost the last 7 out of 8.
But yeah,
So that kind of hurt.
we are one of very few teams to ever
That
beat
hurt.
them in a final. The very few teams have ever beaten them in a final. When they go out, they tend to go out a
Exactly
bit
what
early.
and why I would say exactly.
When
Yeah.
they win, they tend to win like those 15. It's not like they've been in 28 finals or anything. They usually tend to win the final that when they're in, but there's not many who've beaten them, and we've done it.
Yeah. Milante, big up. I see you joined us. We're just in the middle of a conversation about whether Real Madrid is our European rival. I personally think that they are our European rival. I think that there's only 2 real. Obviously, we have Everton and we have the Red Devils as being our rivals per se. But considering how far the Red Devils have fallen off, how insignificant the Everton has been since possibly the late 80s. There's been other candidates that have stepped up to become more about the case of being a rival for us. I personally think that they are. I have always looked at it as our 2 biggest rivals today are Manchester City and Real Madrid. That's how I look at it. Because I look at it as Real Madrid, Manchester City are the only two teams that stand in between our path towards Champions Leagues or your English titles. What are your feelings on that, Alante, if you're with us? I see you're on mute. Okay. Well, Milante's still on mute, so I guess he's unavailable. Let me see. We did speak about the KDB thing a little bit. I saw KJ's in the house. Big up, KJ. We did speak on the KDB links a little bit, not too much. I saw Daryl brought that up. Did you see anything? Did you read anything about that, Brian?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. No. I mean, what about that says FSG to you? I just can't see it.
This apparently Kevin De Bruyne, a free agent this summer after leaving Manchester City, has been linked with a move to Liverpool. This is fueled by De Bruyne's reported lifelong support for the club and his family's Liverpool ties, according to the Liverpool Echo.
Yeah, so Darrow came and said we're in talks. He said we're in talks with the player. We're not in talks with KDB. No chance.
All right.
No, I'm just waiting for the "we're in talks" quote.
Oh,
that's
okay.
what Darrow came and said we're in talks with KDB. He said no, look it up. We're in talks with him.
Let me see.
Yeah. Big up, guys. Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. While I look up this. I don't know if that's not. I'm still looking. Real quick, Real Madrid. Is Real Madrid a Liverpool rival?
Yeah, of course they are.
All right, I like that. This is why I like you a lot. Without I didn't have to even cue you on it. Yes. All right. And why? Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
The elite, actually, clubs, the history. We played them enough times, and they were always there. And we played them in 2 finals. It was nearly a third final. We played them in quarterfinals recently, and So, oh yeah, they're a rival, right? We played them again this season again. So, I know it was just a group stage. Oh, they're a rival. Oh, 100%. No two ways about it.
Okay. And it's funny because I brought that up because I was watching Never Foul and on there, I think it was Mott's brought it up, and when he brought that up, the entire panel laughed, and it was like, why are you as in, who are your rivals in Europe?
Yeah, they're weirdos.
Who are your rivals in Europe, Mr. Red Devil or Mr. Chelsea Blue? You have to be in the mix. You have to be playing for titles in the Champions League. Whether you win them or not, it's one thing or another. But if it ends up being that you end up playing the same team over and over and over in finals, chances are a rivalry will exist. That's why I was like, it's just so disingenuous. It's almost as disingenuous as when they were talking about like the whole BS about Trent Alexander-Arnold. They were trying to stir the pot and act as though no other player had ever left a team. And I remember I wouldn't go as far as to say that Sol Campbell is exactly the same scenario as Trent Alexander-Arnold going to Real Madrid. But the reason why it was brought up is because Arsenal obviously is a rival of Tottenham Hotspur, right?
Yeah, Tottenham. It's called Tottenham.
Tottenham. For me, Real Madrid is a rival of Liverpool. Therefore, I would have been sooner to be accepting of a player. And this is very interesting because there were reports apparently that Trent Alexander-Arnold's camp was out there trying to possibly create if it wasn't going to be Real Madrid, he would have been interested in moving to Barcelona. I don't know if you saw this report or not, but there was a report out there that said how Trent Alexander-Arnold, his camp, were in talks with Barcelona to possibly join Barcelona this summer. And if this scenario had unveiled and it was Real Madrid, it wasn't Real Madrid, and it was Barcelona, would I still be down and and disappointed to see Trent Alexander-Arnold leave? Absolutely. However, if it's on a scale of 1 to 10, I would have been at a 9 that he's going to Barcelona. Whereas, as far as I'm a 10 that he's going to Real Madrid, because I can't stand Real Madrid, and I don't want to do anything to help them try to become and continue to establish their dominance in world football. But do you see where I'm going with it, though?
Well, the Campbell one that's crossing the North London divide.
That's
so
way
it's nowhere
worse.
near. It's nowhere near. It's nowhere near.
Yeah.
Going from Spurs to Arsenal like that, there's a reason he still gets called Judas. That would be like Trent leaving and going on a free and joining Man United if they were our clubs.
Everton.
Well, but if they were a top side,
I don't think it matters because Spurs won the top side.
If Trent left us and joined Everton on a free tomorrow, that would be the most hilarious thing ever. No one would be calling him Judas. People would be checking on his mental health.
I'm not sure about that, Brad, to be honest. I don't think everyone will accept that. I know because Man United but I remember when Campbell went to Spurs were nowhere near Arsenal, and he will still get abused, to be honest. That's all I'm saying.
I just don't see a universe where he joins Everton. But if he was joining a club that was making, the Campbell one, like that's one of the, the Trent's going to a different country, so it's not quite as bad as that. But look, the rivalry.
By the way,
is,
this is the thing. Go finish your point, and then I'm gonna. I found something for you, Brian. So go ahead.
No, I was saying the rivalry thing. Like I said, that takes two to tango, and Real Madrid fans wouldn't look at us. They'd look at us as this team we have to come up against every now and again. We usually beat, but they say, "Oh, look, props, you did well. You're a good team." But they look down their nose on everybody. So
they look down their nose at everyone. Yeah, absolutely. They don't think they have rivals.
No.
Right.
Even
I wish if we'd won those two finals, which we had an actual opportunity, we did have an opportunity to win those two finals. It's just some real questionable actions that went on in some of those games. But if we'd won those two games, all of a sudden this is a completely different story, completely different conversation.
Definitely.
Off of just 2 wins. This is a completely different situation. This is also what I wanted to bring up. According to, I looked up KJ's suggestion. This is from Di Marzio. So Di Marzio is apparently reporting that both Napoli and Liverpool have sent contract proposals to Kevin De Bruyne. That's according to Di Marzio.
The big man. I haven't heard his name in a while.
Who, JK?
JK Di Marzio.
Your
Spanish cousin, JK Di Marzio. Or Italian cousin, yeah. It sounds to me, my first guess on that would be he's trying to bump up the Italian interest by saying, "Oh, look, and Liverpool in for him too. He can't be broken." So yeah,
I mean, how wasn't Milner on the verge of turning 30 when he joined Liverpool?
Yeah, he was getting on. Yeah.
He was like 29 years going on 30 when he joined.
yeah, I think but De Bruyne's like 34.
He's 33, but yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's had 2 massive injuries in the last 2 seasons as well.
Okay.
That's all my thing with him is he's. I don't think the physicality of the Premier League is what's best for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd do very well in Italy, somewhere like that. I just think, yeah, the physicality of the Premier League would probably.
But
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just heard the news earlier about this one. First thing I was like, "Yo, interested," you know. It's Kevin De Bruyne, bro. You know.
That's because they listen to our broadcast.
But
like,
for me, bro, he's getting on, and I've seen him. But he's been actually months. He got Man City getting top 4 this season now, and he's played a big part in that. I've watched a few of their games, and he's getting goals.
Absolutely.
He's still a player, and for me, it's more of the mental side of him. If you could bring a player with his sort of knowledge and brain, and just to be around our players, maybe you can give them a few hints of what to like. Knock knock. And I think it would be cool. I think his wages would be pretty high. But for me, bro, he's a Liverpool fan. So for him, he's gonna.
Well, that gets him in the door, does it? Okay.
No, for me, yeah, but for me, bro, it's like you're gonna get him on a free. It's Kevin De Bruyne, and even if he stays for a year or two, he's just gonna add a bit of experience, whatever it is. He ain't gonna play every week. He probably knows that. Like for me, the way our owners buy players anyway, getting a De Bruyne is like, come on, get it done, you know, because we don't buy no one anyway. So
why not? What's
yeah,
the big
for me,
deal?
it's a why not. You know, I
So
really
why
bothered
not?
about
Why
that.
not? Sign him
They're
for
not wages and stuff.
sign him. Complete a boyhood dream before he goes on to play in America or something like that. You know, give him a year contract. What's that?
Is that we're in the business of doing Make-A-Wish Foundation or something? Is it?
The Make-A-Wish Foundation. No, well, it'd be a Make-A-Wish Foundation if the player wasn't capable of playing.
If we bring Gerrard back for the Crystal Palace game,
Make-A-Wish Foundation. That's a good one, bro.
Exactly.
That's a good one, bro. Make-A-Wish.
There.
On the Make-A-Wish, so can you bring Kevin De Bruyne back?
Yeah. It says Liverpool has made an offer to sign Kevin De Bruyne as per Italian journalist Gianluca Di Marzio. The Reds were linked with the outgoing Manchester City midfielder last month, reports that were not taken seriously at the time. But once they started listening to Liverpool 12th Man show, it's now become reality.
Oh, go on, bro.
I think that's what that says.
That's
I might
what
have
I
heard. That's what I heard. So yeah, keep it going, right? Who knows? There was something else I was going to bring up too, and this one's kind of a funny one.
But Arsenal losing.
Yeah, that's a funny one. That's certainly a funny one. But what I was going to bring up is, let me just get to the actual spot. And that was mock the rival section, which is what it is. You can bring up the loss that they just had. That'd be great. But also the sheer fact of what Mr. Arteta had to say. I have his exact quotes. So let me read you the exact quote. Mikel Arteta said, winning trophies is about being in the right place at the right time, after he pointed out that Liverpool has secured the Premier League title with fewer points than Arsenal amassed over the last 2 seasons. The Gunners finished runners-up to Manchester last season with 89 points. So, is he right or wrong? Not right. just yet. I would hold your horses, Mr. Arteta, in saying that we haven't surpassed your vaunted Gooners point total from last year. But he then goes, the campaign began before that. They also came second behind City with 84 points. Liverpool were crowned the 2024 champions after a 5-1 victory over Tottenham, and we now have 82 points. The Reds, if we finish strong, we could finish with 91 points. That's if we win our last 3 matches, which come against Arsenal this Sunday. Then we travel to Brighton, and then we host the FA Cup finalists, by the way, Crystal Palace, on the final day of the season. So there is a likelihood that we could win these next 3 games. Would be a likelihood that ends up making us go and break that 90-point barrier, which is what I want to see happen. Is Arteta just, having a laugh, basically, with this trying to, poo-poo our title run, and how basically he's saying that we were just lucky that this is the year that that there was a slight fall off. And if anything, does this even more so cement your the hunger that we end up winning these last 3 games to kind of put all that BS that he's talking about to bed? I'll ask JK, since he's just joining us, to answer that question first.
I think Arteta's got beef with us. He played for Everton, played for Rangers, and that's like proper anti sort of Liverpool type of clubs, This guy's got beef with us, bro. I don't know what it is. Maybe the success of Liverpool over the years he's been in England has got too much for him. But all in all, this guy just, like, his team just got knocked out tonight. I think the way Arsenal fans are, they'd be so going at him, having a go at him. They will probably want him sacked. So we're gonna.
They definitely do. This,
Yeah,
I already saw some content creator. I think it was Lee Gunner saying basically, win this game to save your job. Basically, is what he was saying.
There you go. So you know what Arsenal fans are like, anyway.
He's lucky that Gunnar freak isn't his boss, is he?
Yep. And they're all like that. So for me, Arteta, what's happened to Arteta in the league in the last 2 months, bro? They can't win a game. They lost the other day again. So he sort of sacrificed the Premier League race, thinking the Champions League, after doing Real Madrid, home and away. He thought, you know what, I'll just chuck all my stars in there and concentrate on the Champions League, get success that way. So he sort of sacrificed the Premier League, hence why our gap between us two is more than it should be, really. Maybe. Arteta, bro, Joker. He spent 800, 900 million. You could give us 4 guys that much money, would have a team competing, no problem. That's all he's doing, competing. Simple as,
How about for you, Nalante? What do you take from Arteta's comments?
Oh, Mr. Coleman, one trophy in 5 years. He's bottled it again.
No. Let's give him credit. He's got 3. He's got 3.
Pre-season, boy. Oh, yeah, the pre-season trophy, yeah.
There you go.
That's
he mentions that first before he even says the FA Cup.
It couldn't happen to a nicer man. I mean, look, what I'm going to say is, how can you, as a football club, meant to be a top football club, within 5 minutes you're playing long throw-ins like you're Bolton? Embarrassing. Like you're Bolton, you're Southampton. Long throw-ins after 5 minutes. Look at the plays you got. Says it all. Congratulations, man. 0 trophies again. Cry some more. Thank you, Coleman. Thank you, Fake Pip. We thank you tonight. And we thank you, PSG. En français! Viva la France! En français!
Lord of mercy.
How about for you? Brian?
He was squirming. You know, it was interesting because it was a Champions League press conference. You know, it wasn't a pre-game for Liverpool press conference. It was a PSG press conference. And maybe, you know, whatever was said to him, but he's obviously squirming. You know, he said, you need to be in the right place at the right time, is what he's saying. And he's saying Liverpool were in the right place at the right time this season.
Hmm.
If we had done what we did points-wise, blah, 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 we would have had, because he's talking about the points, I think he's talking about is the points when we had when we officially won it. They had more than that. So, yeah, he's very rattled. I don't like over-promoted people. And this is a guy that never managed a single football match at the highest level in his life. Not one. And he gets the Arsenal job. And he gets 700 million quid. You know, it's just, it's we did it with Brendan Rodgers. They're just completely over-promoting people. This guy's done absolutely nothing in the game. Arsenal is one of the biggest clubs on the planet. And he coaches at a high level, yeah, assistant manager. That's it. And he gets the Arsenal job and he gets all that money to spend. It's annoying because there's guys out there that, you know, have worked their way up and they're getting overlooked for likes of these guys. So if I was an Arsenal fan, I mean, I'd even be thinking, where would this Arsenal team, like someone said there, without this season, without set piece goals, where would they be the last 2 seasons without Bukayo Saka? I mean, that guy's fucking carrying that team for 2 years under him. It's like Odegaard is getting criticized now because people are saying Odegaard's getting a lot of criticism at the moment.
Oh,
I've seen whole videos.
Yeah.
I've seen entire like Martin Odegaard is finished type videos, you know, and even more cerebral ones that are, look, what's gone wrong with Martin Odegaard this season kind of thing. And a lot of it is pointing this out. It's just he just constantly gives the ball to Saka. If he doesn't pass it backwards, it's only forward passes Saka. They become completely over reliant on this kid. Overplayed him. You know, it's poor. And he's the one with all that money spent. All that money spent. Who's your main guy? The guy that costs you nothing. The guy that costs you nothing. All the people you spent money on can't even come close to this kid, basically. It's come through your ranks. So it's a fairly damning indictment on Arteta, I think, yeah. And if I was an Arsenal fan, yeah, I'd be like, you know what? You had a good run at it, mate. But look, see, and because I don't get to love him, because I asked one of my mates, he's a big Arsenal fan. I was like, this guy played for Rangers. He played for Everton. He was really popular at Everton. I was like, was he ever like an Arsenal? He's like, no. At Arsenal, he was just this guy that came in last minute to replace Fabregas. He was decent. He was okay. You know,
Fabregas, by the way, a player that did something very similar to what Trent Alexander-Arnold did. But go ahead.
Yeah, but they have, like, to them, like, Arteta isn't an Arsenal legend. Like, they try and kind of carry on that he is. Like, when he left, he was just some guy that used to play for Everton. He used to play for Rangers, pretty decent. Sociedad, couldn't get in the Spain team. They were looking for a Fabregas replacement and they got stuck last minute. And he was decent. He was okay, but he was never some Arsenal icon or, you know, it's like King Kenny coming to manage the club or Steven Gerrard or John Terry or something. This was just like, oh, Arteta, yeah, he was okay for us. He was good. You know, no one. So it's not. He doesn't even have that kind of thing.
I can understand what you're saying. That
So I don't understand the love he gets from Arsenal fans. Like, they went to bat for him. Like I say, like he's Steven Gerrard or like he's John Terry or like he's something like that. It's just like, because most normal Arsenal fans talk like this.
Legend, but
yeah, exactly. It's just he's this random kind of midfielder that they bought when he was 30, I think, come towards the end of his career. So yeah, he has to be finished there. Has to be.
I would only The only thing I would say in his defense is that he was an Arsenal cap. He was the captain of the team.
Yeah, lots of people captain that team. I mean, like I'm like
Oh,
saying,
I
if you
don't
ask
know.
an Arsenal fan, like I'm just saying, I spoke
I
to
don't know.
one of my best mates
I
as an
think
Arsenal
captain
fan. I
of the
said,
team matters. Does matter something.
yeah, no, I know it matters, but I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying, if you want to go to bat for him, cool. But I'm just saying, from an Arsenal fan's point of view, he wasn't seen as this returning club legend.
I wouldn't go
Okay.
at all.
Yeah, that's all I'm trying. I'm not trying to say, you don't need to say, oh, he did this and he did that. It's just, he was just some random player they used to have, did some bits from, it's not like, yeah, but the media make him out like he's Arsenal man through and through. You know, Arsenal legend, Mikel Arteta, blah, blah, blah. He never won anything there,
Hmm.
you know?
Mhm.
So I just never understood this reverence that he got held in. You know, oh, you know, he'd never won anything, never done anything, and now he's the Arsenal coach. If he leaves there, he's not going to a bigger club, so
Uh, Captain Ben said he's leaving. Sure. I know. Arsenal's had a captain that gave their fans the finger. So I understand. Gave him the finger while he was walking off, and they booed him or booing him. But
Ricky Lambert captained Liverpool.
okay, was he was chosen as the captain,
He captained Liverpool.
or he was a captain in the game.
He captained Liverpool. Yeah, wore the armband in a game.
In a game, no. Well, but I'm just saying Arteta was chosen as the captain. It wasn't just a random game.
I didn't realize you were such an Arteta fan. All right, that you were.
I'm not an Arteta.
Oh, no. You're trying to school me on how big he is.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that it's one thing to be voted as a captain by your peers. That's all. It does matter. It does mean something. Voted, or you had the confidence of the coach to make you a captain. That means something. That's all I'm saying. But I wouldn't go as far as to say, like, just because you wore the cap. There, I understand it's the captain Arne band is a different story. If you just happen to be, the only one on the pitch that has to wear it. Yeah, in terms of the one game thing, yeah, that's what I meant. That's all I meant. Anyways, this is not the Arteta 12th man show. This is not at all. Hey, I'd like to see Arteta continue on as the Arsenal coach. I don't think he has the means and the measure to get the plan. I think eventually they've hit their ceiling with him, and they've been fortunate to have some exceptional players like your Sakas, but even I think Partey is a good player too, but I think it's closing time for them when it comes to Arteta, and that's why I hope that he continues on, because I don't think that he'll be much of a threat for us when it comes to trying to secure silverware. Free Lego membership. Yeah, there you go. Well, there were some parts that I didn't get really into. I spoke on Nico Williams' interest. I spoke on the Joel Hato interest. Apparently, Fabrizio Romano speaking on that. I spoke on how Frimpong is keen on a move to Liverpool, and the Reds could take advantage of his $40 million dollar. So that's about probably like 35 million. I think it's like 35 million pounds. Release clause. That's what he has, a release clause of $40 million, but I'd have to do the conversion. Let me get a conversion table up here for you. right, dollars, pounds. 35.
Yeah, KJ put it in the chat.
Okay. Did I say 40 million? I said 40 or 35? 40 million. I put 35, that's why. So, yeah, so it's about 35 million. And that would be 35 million euros probably too, not sterling. But 35 million euros, it's a pretty decent price. Would you not make that move real quick? I got like 10, 15 minutes to chill. Would you not make that push for Frimpong? Possible, he could be a possible, obviously, right back / right wing back solution for us. If not, maybe he could be a right wing solution for us in the future. Yes, no, panel? JK?
Defensively, not the best, but we've been used to that for the last few years, you know what I mean, with Trent. So for me, he's like a more of attacking sort of defender, midfielder sort of player, you know. He's very versatile. For that price, bro, I'd get him in. I don't think Nalante really likes him. I can understand probably why. Defensively, he's not great, bro. He's okay. But attacking-wise, he's good. And then with he can work together with Bradley, you know. Do we need another right back? That's the question. I think Norman, I think he said he played midfield. I think if Norman, because he supports Liverpool, he can come and play right back. But for me, bro, do we need another right back with Bradley together? For me, that's a yes. Because I can't just rely on Bradley to play every game all season. And then maybe have a Gomez there who can fit in now and again. He ain't been fit all season. So for me, a right back is a must now, maybe, for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quick follow-up question. Since you are abreast to, what goes on in the German league, would you spend 51 million pounds on Angelo Stiller?
Yes.
Okay, so yes from Nalante. Would you, JK?
Interesting
KJ's saying no.
player. Doing well for Stuttgart. Yeah, why not? We need a DM.
So go bench. Mark in 10. Simple things.
And bless up KJ as well in the chat, bro. How you cool?
Yes, the Stiller. Okay, so it's a no from KJ, a yes from Norm, a yes from Nalante. You gave him a yes too, JK. 51 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ryan, is it a 9 or is it a yeah from you on Stiller? Red Armchair Supporter says yes.
I know. I haven't watched him play football. I don't know.
No. Okay.
No, he's not sure. He needs to watch. He needs to see him.
I don't know. I haven't seen him play.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. Last but not least, I did speak on this player. Apparently, the race to sign Dean Huijsen looks increasingly like it is down to just Liverpool and Chelsea. That's what Team Talk is reporting right now. The outlet reports both clubs have held negotiations over a possible transfer in the recent weeks. It's also been reported that Chelsea is the one who has offered Huijsen the most tempting financial package, with the Spaniard, quote unquote, sold on the project at Stamford Bridge. This is a weird one for me. This is a weird one. We all know that it's a £50 million release clause. We were just talking about 51 million for Stiller. I would sooner spend the 50 million on Huijsen than on Stiller, to be honest with you. It's pretty interesting because they've been monitoring the player. It's pretty interesting because of what what makes this very, very intriguing is what exactly is going to happen with Konaté. If Ibu was signed and we all knew the direction that he was going, then this Huijsen thing probably would be, okay, if we get him, cool. If we don't, we don't.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, we need to figure out what we're going to do going forward at center half. And I know there are people that prefer Hato as a choice at center half. He is definitely a player that is has been connected with the club as well. Real quick, before we end the show here, what do you feel about the situation with this Huijsen thing?
You're paying for potential.
Mm-hmm.
First season really on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Looks okay. Scored against Arsenal the other day. I think Nalante and Norman like Hato.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind Hato as well, if I have to pick. Huijsen, yeah, he looks a good little player. Just depends on how serious he is in his life about football. Depends on where he will end up next or in the future, you know. But 50 million for a 19-year-old. Had a good season this season as well. So, yeah. But for me, the Ibu thing is a bit weird. What's going on with that lad? His new name's getting popped up all the time, you know. It's like, if you want to stay with us, stay. If not, move in the summer and we'll get another guy in or something.
Yeah,
Because for me, Virgil's staying anyway. So for me, it's a partner for him, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Anything you'd like to say on this subject before we bring the show to an end? PSG does want Ibu. They do.
Well, 128,000 million. They can have him if they win the Champions League. No, but if they want him, I think he's got a year left after this year, yeah?
Yeah,
Yes.
one more season.
Yeah, so if you're going to get 34 million, you should be happy for me.
Or two.
Get back what we paid for him.
I think that's two years, but
If he's got two, well, for me, 60, 70 million, yeah, Joe. I don't mind Konaté leaving. That's honest. I like Ibu, but he has two frailties. One, concentration. Two, injuries. And then the other side of him, which is good, he gets stuck in. And he's had good games for us, you know what I mean? But I just feel concentration levels is his sort of problem.
Okay. Let me see if I can find.
Be mad if we get Alvarez and De Bruyne in the summer. That'd be mad.
Wait, say again?
I said, like, Alvarez's name's getting mentioned quite a lot. It'd be mad if we get him and De Bruyne next season and win the Premier League again. That'd be nice.
I think it'd be interesting. I mean, KDB would probably be on some else. So you thought I was done? Okay. Want to show me the door? All right, got you.
Do you think that's more than showing him the door?
25 games in me. I got good 25 games in me. 25, 30 games.
Do you think that's them showing him the door?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I do. Too many. Yeah, it's just too much to hold on to, and they have other players in mind.
Yeah. So Man City got a bit of a rebuild going on. Walker's left, he's leaving, so they've got a lot to do as well. Did Nalante want De Bruyne, or I don't think Brian does. You do, innit? 12. You'll be happy.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that. And what about you, Nalante? I didn't hear what you said.
No, I mean, he's KDB. He's good. I mean, it's just injury. I think the ship is sailed for me. I don't think we should be going for him. If I'm honest.
Okay. Okay. Okay, KJ, yeah, KJ likes De Bruyne.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that he's the future, but I am saying that we have two players in Salah and Virgil that are both in their 30s that are going to give us good 2 years. If we can get a year, if not two, out of KDB, fantastic. Maybe even get a year out of him, and then some MLS team comes over and purchases him for the final year, and we make a little bit of money. Not something ridiculous, but just a little bit of money. Too.
You guys want that KDB? You're trying to put that KDB energy in the club. I get it. I get what this guy's trying to say. I know he's still obviously he's performed for the last games for the City. He's performed well. To be fair, I've actually watched him. He's performed, but it's just injury prone. We can't afford that, man. Injury prone. I'd just rather just get a younger model. To be honest, yeah, it won't be KDB, but it'll be better for our team, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, but for me, bro, if we go with this summer and get in Frimpong, Huijsen, Stiller, De Bruyne, and Alvarez,
that's got 2 years remaining, by the way. Ibu's got 2 years remaining.
Ibu, yeah.
Ibu's got 2, yeah. Yeah, like I was saying, bro, if we get Alvarez, De Bruyne, Stiller, Huijsen, and Frimpong in this summer, top summer.
Oh no, that's an average summer, Jake. I'm not saying that ain't no top summer to me. Frimpong and Huijsen, no, thank you.
Bro, who else have we got? Like the guy at Fairnoid, the one that Norman used to talk about, the right back. The options aren't there. Look at the number 9s they're talking about, bro. Schick from Leipzig.
Sesko, yeah, that's only if we don't.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
Sesko, you know what I mean? Like these type of names, like Gutierrez and stuff like that. They're not Liverpool type of guys.
No, but that's down to the club, isn't it? If we don't get the main strikers, I mean, those are the only options. And Osimhen, unfortunately, that's all we've got. So that's the problem. That's the problem right there. We're just selling it to get another risky striker, half decent striker. That's the problem. We don't stump up the cash, you know what I mean, or make a concrete bid on an Isak or Alvarez. I'm not sure about that. If it happens, great. I'm not convinced by that. If I'm honest, to be fair, and apart from those two, there's no one else.
That's the
problem. Bro. Yeah,
and that's the truth. That's football now. Back in the days,
yeah,
you got a list of 10 players. You can say, you know what, I'm getting in.
So if we're not getting, in my opinion, if we're not getting Isak or Alvarez, then just get someone that can play across the front line. Just get me a Kudus or someone like that. Look at PSG, how they play, how they flow. Just get me someone like that. It's not what I want, but I'd rather just someone like that. A quality player who could play across the line, left, right, do a job in the middle than either of those strikers, to be fair. And we'll still cook. We'll still cook. So, oh yeah.
You know what? Everyone's going mad about number 9. When you've seen it with Slot this season, he's not really a big fan of number 9s. Because they don't really do nothing. You know what I mean? No number 9s really work for him this season. Diaz did when he just sort of slotted in them and gap goes on the left and stuff. But all in all, he ain't the type of guy who sort of concentrate as the number 9 being the main part of his game. You know what I mean?
He had three different player types in the number 9 role. Three drastically different player types in the number 9 role. And the production that we got out of the number 9 was
nothing really. Yeah.
Nothing to write home about. I think Hato is a excellent player. I think Núñez is an excellent player. And I think Lucho is an excellent player. But do I think of them as being dynamic and bringing in the types of numbers that everybody wants to see out of a number 9 for this club. Not in the system. I just don't. Now, whether Julian Alvarez could be a different story from that, I'm willing to keep an open mind about that. He's someone that I've been very much interested in. The very first time we had a connection with him and we're linked to be making a move with him when he was at City. I thought that was an excellent move. I think I still was on board with it. And I liked the fact that his player type, his player characteristics fit what it was that we're missing in that 9 role that I think Slot wants to have. And that is a younger version of Bobby Firmino, basically.
I don't know, man. Again, I don't believe that. I don't believe this what he wants role, because I'm getting a bit tired of that being said, because he played with an number 9 at Feyenoord and he weren't no Bobby Firmino. He just wants to.
You will admit this. You will admit this. The Dutch league is not the Premier League, so you can get away with a different format and a different structure.
I hear what you're saying, Tom.
Everything else is different. I just think it's like the same reason why there's so many forwards that do incredibly well in the Bundesliga, and then they come to the Premier League and they flutter out.
Yeah, but I think he's talking about the system he used as opposed to more the player. He's just saying like that he did have a goal scorer in the middle.
Yeah.
Not just you can bring the system.
But again, I understand that, but I'm also saying that system works in a Dutch league. It doesn't work necessarily here. He's got to tweak it. I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that he's bound for like mediocrity or he's not going to be able to do anything.
I don't think that's what Levante's saying.
Go ahead, Levante. You tell us what you're saying rather than us.
No, that's cool. But I think I know KJ you were saying, but I think we're jumping on the bandwagon here about what he wants, the false 9. End of the day, it doesn't matter if the Dutch league is the Premier League. That doesn't matter. That's not a point. What a coach wants, it doesn't matter what league he's in, is what he wants. You know what I mean? It's like saying, for instance, when Madrid wants X player, he played in this Premier League like this, and he plays different in Premier League. That's different. If he wants a number 9, he's number 9 last season. I don't care if it's a Dutch league. Was an out number 9 that could play and hold the ball and get goals. Now, you guys are saying that he wants a false 9. Why? How? What? Because he played Diaz. Come on now. Núñez is an out number 9. Jota is not a false 9. I don't care what anyone says. And the only reason why is
knows what Jota is anymore. I don't think anybody even knows what Jota is.
Brian, this is my point.
A striker, he's not a winger.
Exactly, Brian. And this is what people just jump in, assuming that he wants a false 9. Says who? He only played Diaz because he doesn't like Núñez. He didn't do it. And Jota was out of form. That's the only reason why he played Diaz. If he had a proper striker he was bagged in goals, then this wouldn't be a discussion. So I just get a bit bored with people saying that this man wants a false 9.
What I think he wants, because like 12 months saying, like we had 3. And they are very different, and that's kind of instructive, and that was helpful because you had basically a Diaz who should never have been used there in the first place, but it gave you a chance to use it. Then you had a Jota who is, like you say, somewhere between a false 9 and a whatever, and then Darwin, who's just like an out and out running behind, pace, power, all that, completely different type. And the one that he wanted to use, he could see more often than not, is the Jota type. So to me, what he wants is basically, just my opinion, what I would imagine is that he wants someone who is definitely not a Núñez type, not a run in behind type guy, but someone like Jota, but obviously who would 15. I'm not saying like a 30 goal a season number 9. It's just more like a Jota who can play the way in that is that type, but also contributes like with 15, 16 goals, like maybe Cunha type numbers, not Haaland numbers, not even Isak numbers, not 25, 28. I think maybe that would be the type. But again, he could turn around in the next 2 seasons, because 2 years, man, we could be looking at a team that's playing a completely different way, and we're looking back on this conversation going, what a bunch of idiots. But just from what I've seen him do, the one that he likes to pick when they're fit is Jota. So I'm thinking, well, he likes probably the Jota type. So someone like Jota, but they can actually, we're not asking him to bag 35 goals, be a Shearer or be a Haaland, but be definitely more than Jota, who's on, I think, 6. Yeah, injuries in and out, but just a better version of that type of profile of player. That's the way I would look at it. But no, I'm not asking for a number 9 to come in and lead the line and score Haaland numbers. I don't expect that. I just think numbers from the wings plus numbers from the middle, but just a little bit more from the middle. Next thing you know, happy days.
Oh, I get it. No, I get it, Brian. But again, JK, I don't know. I'm sorry, KJ, put it back. Kane is not a proper winger. But you're going on like this guy Slot wants like a man out front to score 10 goals a season. I just don't. No. But I'm just saying. I'm just replying to the chat. I'm just saying.
Oh, sorry. No,
not you,
sorry.
Brian. No.
Oh, sorry.
Not you. But everyone's just assuming, and I'm just a bit, again, not trying to be disrespectful. Everyone has opinions, but everyone's saying he wants a false 9. Says who? Says who? Who knows you're going to get in? Let's just say we get Isaac. He's a false 9? He's only played that way due to certain logistics, like you said, Brian. There's a striker he doesn't fancy, and Jota was injured, so he brought Diaz, and it's worked. And since Jota's been fit, what's happened? He's been playing Jota with Brian Murphy the whole lot of time until after a while he just said that you can't take it no more. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
But just on that, it just shows you that people are throwing mud at the wall to see what sticks, because when you drill into it, all the strikers we've been linked with, it's literally every type of striker, from false 9 to out and out number 9. It's like we can't be looking at all of these different types. He must have some kind of profile in mind for what he wants to do. But people are saying, oh, they're after Sesko, oh, they're after Kerkez, oh, but they're also after Cunha. They're totally different types of footballers. So they're just linking us with absolutely every striker in Europe at the moment. We can't be genuinely looking at all of these types. I think the Alvarez one fits the best for me. That's a great fit for me. I think he's a really that'll work. Absolutely, that would work.
The season's not even finished, and man's on a mad one already. You remember about 4 months ago, Harvey Elliott was going to bloody Dortmund, and Endo was going to Inter Milan, and we're going for titles and Champions Leagues and stuff, and man's were getting rid of half of our squad. What's going to be like this summer? I think this summer's going to be wild, bro.
Núñez was going to AC Milan. Do you remember that one in January? AC Milan had a deal lined up for Núñez.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's only 4 months ago. Imagine what's going to be like in 2 years. Like Konaté saying, we haven't seen what this guy is going to do yet. So let's give it a couple of transfer windows, see what we look like.
That's it. But again, KJ, you were saying that you're assuming that based on what we've been shown, he wants someone's drugged him. Really? How? You tell me how has we been assumed that he wants someone to drug him? Has he said it? Well, because he plays Diaz? We don't know. This is what I'm saying. No one knows. Everyone's just assuming. This is the problem,
Well, with that said, I guess we will have to wait and see. Wait and see who is right and who is wrong. I'm sure whoever is will make sure that we all know it. I think you guys both have some very valid points, or all of you have valid points. I just think that is when it comes to this team and this coach and the tactics that he utilizes and the players that he's had at his beck and call, we probably could have gotten some other results from this club. Being probably could have gone possibly deeper in the FA Cup or had a better performance, been more rested for that League Cup final. But it's all water under the bridge now. We are Premier League champions, and we have 3 more games in front of us, and we have a absolutely chest-fallen Arsenal probably looking at Anfield as an opportunity to try to possibly get back some of their pride. So it should be a very, very hard-fought game, I think, despite the fact that both teams aren't really playing for much other than the pride of saying, bragging rights, basically. So we shall see. We'll certainly have a preview of that game. Hopefully Brian or Milante, JK, possibly even Lee, maybe Bernie joins us. Maybe KJ joins us if he's off from work. So we'll be having plenty to come up this week. Hopefully you'll be a part of it. We have some very, very good numbers, but I am going to have to end the segment today and move on to seeing you tomorrow, my Reds. So real quick, do you guys want to say anything to the people before we bounce out? JK?
Yeah, stop trying to sign KDB.
Okay, all right.
For me,
I know.
peace.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just the salt was pretty harsh on that one. Go ahead.
Yeah, bless up the chat as always. And,
400K a week? No.
He's not going to get 400K. He's
he
already out
wouldn't
of
get
contract.
400K.
He's
Out of contract. He's not getting 400K.
Yeah, he's on a free transfer. He'll be getting offers of 400K from all over the planet. He's going to get.
There's up to him really, isn't it, where he wants to go and that. If he wants to come to Liverpool and get a pay cut just to play for Liverpool, fair play to him. You know what I mean?
Make a wish. Get Michael Jackson in the building. Let's make a wish over here.
Okay. What, smooth criminal?
Right, funny, mate. It's going to be the head of the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah.
That's what KDB
Right,
means.
you want this summer when we don't get no one in? You're going to be wishing we get De Bruyne on.
Wow.
I
Seriously.
don't think it's going to be a busy summer. It could be not. But like the way it's been, I don't think so. So whoever comes, bro. And what KJ is saying quickly about Jota and stuff is true, actually.
Oh man, I'm not going to go into this, KJ. Look, it doesn't matter if he's been in the 10. Haaland has dropped deep as a 10. That doesn't matter. That's irrelevant to the point, but it is what it is. I know with this heat map and stuff and players moving. I've seen Jota make runs down the middle, KJ. I mean, but he doesn't get the ball. It is what it is anyway.
Exactly.
It is what it is, man. So
the main thing when our number 9s, I was seeing Darwin the other day. He made 2 beautiful runs, bro. Twice he didn't get the ball.
well,
They don't get the number 9 to get the ball, bro. We've got players who can thread a ball.
Someone call the
How
UN.
do you do it?
Oh my gosh. All right, we're going to be out, people.
all right, let's end the show now, folks. Great.
Let's end it on
Before
that.
Phil's got an appointment. Let's go. Take care.
On that one. Big up to the panel. Big up to the Irishman. Big up to Nolante. Big up to JK. You can definitely catch them also, if not here, but on their own respective channels. And until tomorrow, as always, my friends, up the Reds. Up the Reds. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, take care.